Breaking news from Boston. A high-stakes federal showdown is unfolding as a Massachusetts judge weighs whether to force the Trump administration to release billions in emergency SNAP funds amid a growing crisis threatening food assistance for millions of Americans. 25 states have banded together in a lawsuit against the administration, accusing it of unlawfully holding back contingency funds meant to keep the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, running during the government shutdown. At Thursday's tense hearing, Judge Indira Talwani signaled she may side with the states, calling the situation a clear emergency. She questioned how Washington could deny funds when, in her words, people are going hungry. This is not a political game. The $5 billion emergency fund, created by Congress for moments like this, is at the center of the battle. Federal lawyers argued the money isn't enough to cover full benefits and warned that partial disbursements could be catastrophic. But state attorneys countered, saying some help is better than none, and urged the court to act immediately. They also pointed out that another $23 billion fund could be used if the administration truly cared about keeping families fed. The SNAP program costs roughly $8 billion per month, and millions of low-income households are now caught in limbo as the judge prepares to issue a ruling, possibly within hours.
The White House confirmed today that emergency funds cannot be used to feed civilians, not because the money isn't there, but because the law doesn't allow it. Under new federal guidance, the emergency budget can pay for military salaries, disaster response, even building maintenance, but not food assistance. In other words, if you're hungry during a government shutdown, you're not considered an emergency. Officials say this is about legal boundaries and fiscal discipline, but for millions of Americans who rely on food programs to survive, those words sound like a death sentence written in bureaucratic language. Food banks are already reporting record lines. Mothers are skipping meals so their kids can eat. Elderly couples are rationing bread while Congress argues over numbers on a screen. Meanwhile, the same emergency funds are covering defense research and administrative bonuses because apparently hunger doesn't threaten national security. This isn't a shortage of money. It's a shortage of empathy. When a government can fund missiles but not milk, something has gone very wrong. The White House calls it procedure. The public calls it cruelty. So you tell me, when did feeding people stop being an emergency?
Somebody to fucking tell me they're lying. I need somebody to fucking tell me they're lying. I need somebody to fucking tell me they're lying right fucking now, because what the fuck do you mean that I'm not gonna get my fucking SNAP benefits? What the fuck do you mean? Because what the fuck is happening? Do you understand that there are people like me who cannot work? Do you understand there are people like me who have kids who cannot eat? Do you understand there are people like me who go hungry the last week of the month just so my kids can't eat? Because SNAP benefits is all we fucking get. I need somebody to please fucking tell me he's lying. I can't. What the fuck am I gonna do?
There's enough money to start feeding people right away. $6 billion's a lot of money, and they're using it for other things. $20 billion for Argentina, hundreds of millions for Kristi Noem's plane. Who are we kidding here? In the last shutdown, rather, 2019. January 8th, 2019. They funded it. So don't believe the bull, and I hope in every story you will write that they can fund it on their own. Trump is weaponizing hunger. He's turning millions of children and seniors and veterans into political pawns. He's choosing politics over people, cruelty over compassion. All of these people will lose their SNAP benefits, not because the money's gone, not because it's not permitted, because Donald Trump ordered it stopped. Donald Trump is a vindictive politician and a heartless man.
They've done something insidious, the federal government, in addition to Donald Trump being willing to turn off SNAP benefits on November 1, when they do have emergency funds available at the Department of Agriculture, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and they're choosing not to use it. But they've done something even more insidious. They've decided to shut down the SNAP machines so that they can't be used. So even if we were to put money into SNAP accounts, they couldn't be accessed by someone who has a SNAP card.
This funding for SNAP has never lapsed in the history of the United States. Last shutdown under President Trump, they found a way to use this money. As a matter of fact, the contingency fund this year was already utilized to pay for staff for SNAP. They already tapped it once. And that plan that Senator Klobuchar talked about, here it is. Why would this magically disappear from the website? And why Speaker Johnson lying to the American people saying, oh, the law does not allow for this to happen? It's bull. I'll say it. I come from a small farm. I know the difference of good soil and the bull that goes in it, and this is the bull. Taking these plans down to try to lie to the American people and justify why it's okay for people to go hungry.
What we're looking at right now is some 20 million people seeing a doubling in their health insurance premiums. In my state of Vermont, we're hearing that people are looking at a tripling or a quadrupling of their health insurance premiums. Shortly, we're going to be seeing, if we don't prevent it, which we must, 15 million people losing their health insurance because of Trump's massive cuts to Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act, which studies suggest will result in the deaths every year of some 50,000 Americans. And now, on top of all of that, when there is a contingency fund put in by Congress to provide emergency funding during a shutdown for SNAP, for food stamps, etc., something that was on the website of the Department of Agriculture 2 weeks ago. They deleted it. And now what Trump is saying is we're not going to provide SNAP benefits to over 16 million children, their parents, and their grandparents. So as you just seen in the brief interviews that your reporter did, you're going to see families literally in the richest country in the history of the world, where the wealthiest people have never had it so good. Millions of people are going to say, how am I going to feed my children? This is unspeakable.
Today is November 1st, but instead of hope, millions of Americans woke up to hunger and heartbreak. Washington has refused to release the SNAP benefit, and with the ongoing federal government shutdown, thousands of federal workers didn't receive their paycheck. President Donald Trump administration is turning hunger and hardship into a weapon, and the people are paying the price.
We're moving money around just to get by, going into our savings just to get by. There are people that probably don't have savings, that live check to check,
We're here in Queens at a food distribution site for the food bank for New York City. You can see this line behind me. It's filled with federal workers who are furloughed right now, but still going to work every single day, but not receiving a paycheck. You can see some of the goods that are being distributed here, food that they desperately need. This is the same story we're seeing all across the country. We're speaking with people here who are emotional, worried about how they're going to pay their bills, and knowing this is the only way they're going to put food on the table.
It's just hard. Like, they're still getting a paycheck and we're not. They make hundreds of thousands of dollars and we're not making that much money. So to cut the little people down and you still get a paycheck is really unfair.
The food bank officials here are also nervous because starting in November, those SNAP benefits that feed millions across the country and millions here are going to be coming to an end.
This has never happened before. We've never had a situation where a month of SNAP benefits were suspended in this country.
I'm okay right now, thanks to the food banks and stuff like that, but I don't know how long.
This line for groceries in Longwood started growing before daybreak.
This is a shame.
Martha shares it's her first time in line. She's not here because she wants to be, but because she has to be. Her SNAP benefits may lapse.
In November, that's not going to be, so we have to come out where we can get something for our kids and the family members.
The food is very expensive, so those SNAP benefits really benefit people.
Lisa and George McDermott say they're making adjustments just in case.
We're budgeting our money very carefully. And at the same time, we're going to the food pantry, which is a blessing at itself.
City Council data from 2024 shows about 20% of those living in the 5 boroughs received SNAP. In the Bronx,
more than 40% rely on it.
Some of our communities in the Bronx have 50% of the population on SNAP.
Zach Hall with Food Bank NYC adds 1 in 3 Bronx children are food insecure. SNAP offers more than food to eat.
Kids can come ready to learn, ready to do their best.
And it has a ripple effect, says Hall.
SNAP produces a multiplier effect in the local economy. So every dollar of SNAP produces about $1.54 of economic activity.
The Hope Line helps about 400 families a week with food, diapers, and SNAP.
Because of this shutdown, clients have been coming more frequently to ask about SNAP.
Program manager Charlene Morera feels comfortable they can meet the increased need for help if necessary. Governor Hochul put out this statement. We're proud to assist the Office of the Attorney General in joining 24 other states in suing the Trump administration, demanding the release of emergency funds so families can continue to put food on the table through this government shutdown.
It's a really sad situation that's going on.
Devin Spann has 2 little ones to care for at home.
Going to every pantry that I could possibly get to make sure that me and my son ensure my babies ensure that we eat every night.
42 million Americans on the doorstep of a hunger crisis. SNAP federal food assistance set to run out of money in less than 24 hours. A lifeline for Americans like Melissa Miles from Michigan and her son.
I don't see how we are one of the wealthiest countries in the world, yet we're willing to let people go hungry, all because people can't communicate and agree.
And this morning, the Trump administration defending its reversal, now saying it's not allowed to tap emergency funds to cover SNAP during the shutdown, despite a previous USDA plan to do just that. In a lawsuit brought by Democratic officials from more than 24 states, a federal judge now questioning the administration's rationale, saying, quote, "It's hard for me to understand how this isn't an emergency." Republicans arguing the money just isn't available.
Some of the Democrats have argued that you can use this contingency fund, but the truth is there's no legal mechanism to do it.
But Democrats pointing out SNAP has never run out of funds in its 60-year history, even during past shutdowns.
The money's there, and Trump has said, don't spend a dime. We want to use hungry people as hostages in this crisis.
This weekend, SNAP benefits now set to halt in every state but one. And this worsening food crisis now on a collision course with the issue at the heart of this shutdown, expiring Obamacare tax credits. Starting Saturday, more than 20 million Americans will see how much their insurance costs could skyrocket. People like Stacey Cox.
It's devastating. I don't know if I've ever cried opening a letter from an insurancer before, but it happened this time.
She's been paying nearly $500 for coverage for her and her husband, but next year she says that will jump to more than $2,000 a month.
Just that bill right there, that's more than our mortgage, our insurance, most of our food. That's what we're paying per month to live.
Democrats are holding out for Republicans to negotiate with them on health care. Republicans have refused to do that while the government is shut down. Meantime, 1.4 million federal workers are still going unpaid. Some of these pallets of food actually heading out to distribution sites for them. Congress, by law, is still being paid during the shutdown. Their checks will go out tomorrow, and the Senate is on recess for the weekend.
Now that Democrats have blocked this bill 11 times, is it time to start thinking about a plan B for you guys?
Plan B is open up the government.
What about a compromise, a middle ground?
We've had a bill passed in the House, sitting at the desk in the Senate, can be picked up and passed. The middle ground, I think, is what we talk about after we open up the government. I mean, this is not a sustainable position. They're blocking the defense appropriations bill now. They're not going to pay the troops, and they're now starting to own it. I mean, they're acknowledging that this is their shutdown, and so I think they're going to have a hard time defending that to the American people. Nothing more than their attempt to try and pick a fight with the president and hold the federal government and federal workers hostage to do it. It makes no sense. I don't get it.
So there's no talks going to happen with Schumer before the shutdown ends?
No. I mean, they're going to have to come forward with a proposal or something. We aren't seeing it.
SNAP benefits have never been suspended before. While about 24 states have sued to keep assistance flowing, no new benefits are expected to be issued tomorrow, and it's not the only program in jeopardy.
Halloween was celebrated early at this Head Start Center in southwest Wisconsin, which is closing its doors today due to the government shutdown.
I love my kids.
Stephanie Wallace has been teaching here for 13 years. She now has to say goodbye after being temporarily laid off.
Some of the kids already knew. We told them, we're not going to see you for a little bit.
It's one of approximately 140 Head Start programs that will not receive federal funding beginning November 1st, impacting roughly 65,000 kids across the country.
I think families are going to feel like the rug is being yanked out from underneath them.
Roughly 75% of the families at this Wisconsin facility also rely on SNAP or food stamps. Community organizers say losing childcare and food assistance at the same time could have a compounding effect.
Hunger in our community will go up 100%. Right? So we're doing what we can to make sure that we don't have kids who aren't eating for days on end.
Senator, do you think the Senate should be leaving now when SNAP benefits are due to expire?
Well, we would love the Democrats to open the government.
Thursday, the Senate departed without holding a vote to fund the government. Fresh off his Asia trip, President Trump fired off several posts urging Republicans to play their Trump card, go nuclear, and get rid of the filibuster to bypass Democrats and end the shutdown.
We're in this fight until we win this fight because we know we're on the right side of this fight for the American people.
Democrats are eyeing another key deadline this weekend. Open enrollment begins under the Affordable Care Act, and health insurance premiums could spike. They believe that sticker shock will compel Republicans to come back to the negotiating table, but Republicans insist the government must reopen first, Nate.
Across the country, families that depend on SNAP program, the Supplementary Nutrition Assistance Program, are in shock. The benefit they depend on to feed their children simply never came. At the same time, federal workers, the men and women who keep our government running, didn't get pay today because of Washington political deadlock. From postal workers to airport security, for veterans to public servants, their struggles are going deeper by the day. This is not just a shutdown. It is a shutdown with people's life. When a nation refuses to feed its hungry and pay its workers, it lost its moral compass. Children are going to bed hungry tonight. Parents are praying for miracle. And all because politics has replaced compassion. President Donald Trump. Critics say this is not leadership. It's cruel, using hunger and paycheck as bargaining chip. It's not for America we were promised. But even in that time, light can still shine. To every viewer out there, if you have food, money, or resources, please don't hesitate to help those in need around you. A single act of kindness can feed hope where the system has failed. American power has never been in its politics. It is in its people. Together, we can prove that compassion is stronger than cruel. Big shout out to the Stitches videos for the visual that help tell the story behind this struggle. To all my amazing true verdicts, thanks for your continued support. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and turn on your notification bell so that you won't miss the real story that matters.